Namaste. So, welcome to your 5 minutes of self-care. Today, I'd like to speak to you about the concept of Kriya Yoga that you can find in the Yoga Sutras by Patanjali. We have explored the yamas and the niyamas, the ethical guiding principles, how we interact with oneself and with our surroundings. Kriya Yoga speaks about 3 different guiding principles that we have already discussed in the last weeks. Number 1 is self-study, svana. Number 2 is self-discipline, tapas. Number 3 is ishvara, which is trust in the divine in life. All 3 interact with each other, and you can use them as a guideline, as a rule book on how we can pretty much become the version that we would like to be and be able to deal with layers of conditioning and programming that we are not aware or conscious of. Within yoga therapy, we study this philosophy, especially with the School of Beloved Yoga in the US. The reason being is because it's still relevant, these scriptures, in modern society today. Meaning, these ancient scriptures, which are 1,000 years old, have been derived by ancient practitioners and collected to be able to understand why are we able or how are we able to overcome suffering, dukha. If you look at the scriptures, if it's Mahabharata, there's always the same essence inside. What are we doing here on this planet? What is our mission, our purpose? How can we overcome obstacles with ease? Happiness, joy does not mean that you will not face any obstacles in your life. Actually, it will not get better or easier, but we are able to overcome them smoother, with grace, with more strength and resilience. And this is like the key to understand the difference between knowing that you seek happiness and you believe that you can live a life without any suffering. It does not exist. It does not exist because our life cycle as human beings is birth and death. And we will all experience loss, grief in a certain stage. We all will experience moments that we do not know how we can deal with them best. Kriya Yoga speaks exactly to this. It is like a toolbox that allows you to show up for yourself every single day in form of self-discipline. If this is your self-care routine, if this is any sports you practice, or if this is a job that you love and you just want to exceed and excel in it, or if it's showing up for your family every single day, it takes practice, takes courage, and yes, it takes self-discipline. And once you have showed up to your practice, whatever that is, you observe yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, what happens in my body, your responses, your reactions. And that's where Swadhyaya kicks in, self-study, observing yourself, understanding where does your perception come from? Where does my truth come from? And then you have the 3rd principle, Ishvara Pranidhana. You have done the best. You showed up for yourself. You have worked on yourself. You're developing your consciousness to understand, becoming more aware of what you do, what you think. And then you know what? You just leave it up to the universe, to life. Trust the process, your journey. I give you an example. When you practice yoga, you have the asanas, the physical part, and everyone understands yoga is only asana. No, yoga is a whole way of living. It's a lifestyle. It's not just like fancy postures which look like Cirque du Soleil style concoctions or contortions. It is actually showing up on your mat every single morning, doing exercises, postures, breathing exercises, meditation. And doing this diligently for years and years and years, you do observe changes in your body and your mindset, moving your energy, and changes in your emotional body. Without having the expectations to reach a specific goal. You just practice. And suddenly you can see, wow, I can do a headstand. Wow, I'm able to do a handstand. And you realize how strong you become and how more resilient you become. And this only works with tapas, with self-discipline, showing up for oneself. And only works with svadhyaya, self-study, observing your movements, what happens in your body, your breath, your thoughts while you practice. And then doing this every single day with the trust of life that whatever happens, happens. It happens for a reason, without expectations to reach a specific goal. You know how many times people say to you, you should enjoy the journey, the process, rather than the destination. And it's true. And sometimes it feels like you're climbing up that mountain and it ain't getting easier. I can give you an example. I've been starting to train and do something getting out of my comfort zone because I went through such a rigorous training for how many years in my childhood and teenagehood and classical ballet that I am feeling reluctant to have to go through pain and training again in my life. So I embrace now this personal training with Laurent, who is great because he listens to me when I tell him, please just don't get me too much into my sympathetic nervous system, because in the principles of Ayurveda, I'm a Vata dosha, so I have a lot of element of wind inside of me, which means I'm an overthinker and I have fire. I can burn out quickly. So that means also that my nervous system can get out of control easily. If I do, for instance, a normal CrossFit training, that does not adapt me to have rest time in between, because my body doesn't recover. Because I've experienced so much trauma when I was a child doing this rigorous 6 hours of ballet training every single day, 6 days a week, that I know now my body, but I studied it because I showed up for myself every single day. So I love the way how Laurent does it. He knows exactly when he can see I have no strength. And then you can see also the difference if your emotional body changes. For instance, we went through the past days, a situation that my really dear friend of mine had to go through. And when we go through certain hardship in our life, and you see this happening to a loved one next to you, it can also trigger something within you, and it can drain your energy because I understood that I got triggered in my trauma. And then the healing takes place. And healing requires a lot of energy too. So which means sometimes in the physical practice, I've noticed when I was training yesterday morning, was I couldn't be that strong because emotionally and mentally, I was using a lot of energy for my own healing, for the trauma, and also holding space for my loved one, so if these are your friends, your family, and that happens sometimes. And I only say that so many times to people who care for other people. Yoga teachers, practitioners, healers, chiropractors, doctors, anyone who holds space for others, they need to care for themselves before they can hold space for others. Because you cannot give from an empty cup. This is something so important. So that being said, you have learned about Kriya Yoga. Check out this week when you show up for yourself, whatever training it is, and you show discipline, observe yourself, learn more about yourself, get to know yourself, and then let it go. No expectations. Just trust your process, your journey. I will hold a self-care and Ayurveda Panchakarma retreat from the 31st of July to the 12th of August in Sri Lanka, Babarin Velingama Resort. And this is especially for the healers among you, the practitioners or the seekers among you who like to reset your system, get rid of your toxins in a natural way. The teachings of Ayurveda with a doctor helps you to adapt it to your own body, your mental, emotional, and physical body. And I will be teaching 3 classes per day: meditation, movement, energetic movement, yoga, and pranayama, breathing. And I will also give alchemy healing sessions. So if you're interested in past life regression sessions or understanding why are you getting triggered, everything of these classes they are all trauma-informed, trauma-based classes by the teachings of Mariam Ovisi, from the teachings from Mariam Ovisi at Beloved Yoga in Washington, D.C., Adrian Moran, and also my dear teacher in Tel Aviv, Amanda Ronson. So please join us. Send me an email on geraldine@geraldinehardy.com. I'm taking holidays off from my own work to be able to undergo this detox program and to hold space for you.